This isn't really worth my time, to be honest, or anyone's time for that matter, because this is so nonsensical it borders on parody. But I don't see any other YouTubers calling out this bullshit, so I guess I'll be that guy again. But there's a surprisingly hefty chunk of people that actually believe and proclaiming that Wolfenstein 2, The New Colossus, is SJW propaganda, that it's communist propaganda. Let me first say that I absolutely despise communism. Make no mistake, I do not sympathize with this ideology whatsoever. If I'm being totally honest, there was a time a few years ago where I was sympathetic to the, and I say this in massive air quotes, plights of SJWs. But that's only because I was ignorant and lacked information. I'm far more well-informed, far more critical, and go out of my way to do research. I'm all about sources and evidence. So while I have grown to loathe SJWs, and while I despise communism to its core, after playing Wolfenstein 2, The New Colossus in full, and investigating the claims by people that it's SJW communist propaganda, I'm sorry, but that view does not match up with reality. You remember that quote from The Dark Knight? Die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain? That's what's going on here. You are turning into SJWs. Where the typical radical leftist SJW is paranoid that everything is racist and sexist and homophobic, you are now being paranoid that everything is SJW and communism. Wolfenstein 2 is in no way endorsing SJW ideals whatsoever. Is there a character in the game that believes in communism? Yes. The character Horton certainly does. You can find his room in headquarters has communist flags hanging in it. Oh, by the way, I want to specifically address the few idiots, and yes, I mean this, you truly are an idiot, for saying that Wolfenstein 2 is communist propaganda simply because it has communist flags in the game. Communist flags that are hidden away. You actually have to go looking for them. They aren't thrown in your face. They're in a very secluded corner of the ship. I didn't even find them in my first playthrough. I didn't even find Horton's room in my first playthrough. I had to go looking for it when I saw you idiots in the YouTube comments complaining, oh, there's communist flags in the game. I was like, where? And eventually, after half an hour exploring the headquarters, I found them, tucked away, out of sight, out of mind. So let me get this straight. The mere presence of a Russian communist flag, one that's hidden away, mind you, not thrown in your face, makes the game communist propaganda. There's swastikas in the game. There's Nazi flags all over the game. Does that make the game Nazi propaganda? Fascist propaganda? No, that's right. You're a fucking idiot. Use your brain and think. Your leap in logic, your lack of logic is insulting. Now, coming back to the character of Horton. Horton is not the first communist character in video games. He's not the first character in video games that believes in communism. Sophia Lamb from BioShock 2, anybody? And yet I didn't hear people decrying that BioShock 2 was communist propaganda. Here's the thing about Horton, though. This bit right here.
And the greedy money men of Wall Street who was itching to send the children of the proletariat off to die in foreign lands so that they could be filling their coffers. It weren't their sons bleeding on the beaches. No, they draft people like you for their dirty work while they was watching the dollars roll in. You're the pawn, the patsy of cantankerous men in Marble Mansion.
He's absolutely right about this part. You see, in the fictional world of Wolfenstein, the New Order and the New Colossus, the Nazis won World War II. They were dominating, crushing the Allied forces. There was no hope for victory, and yet the Allies kept sending people to die to the Nazi war machine. General Death's Head Da'Ishut re-engineered technology made the Nazis unstoppable in the war. There was no hope in beating them. But war is profitable, and you can bet that there were individuals on both sides of the conflict making huge profits from all the industries of warfare. So while I disagree with Horton's beliefs, events in this fictional world understandably help confirm Horton's biases. And here's the beautiful thing about Wolfenstein 2. It doesn't prop up Horton and his ideology as the savior that will help defeat the Nazis, and BJ and Horton have a debate. You know the thing that SJWs are absolutely terrified of and refuse to have? You two as well. You're no better. I see you guys in the YouTube comment sections, disabling your discussions tabs and your private messages tabs. You'll talk mad shit in the comment section, but you won't respond to replies. And no one can contact you, so you can make these big claims but won't back them up and debate with anybody. Wolfenstein 2 actually has two characters. Our protagonist, our hero of the game, BJ Blazkowicz, debate with Horton about their ideologies and viewpoints. Oh yeah, and if you actually played the game and watched the entire cutscene, you you know that BJ won the argument. And while Horton may have some shitty ideals, that doesn't make him a terrible person. From the information the game has provided, he seems like a guy who genuinely cares about people. He ain't no Stalin shooting innocent people, throwing them in ditches. The mere presence of a character who has communist ideals doesn't make the game communist propaganda, you fucking idiots. You sound like the SJWs you despise. You remember when SJWs claimed that Mafia Free was racist because it had racist characters because it was taking place in a time period where there was racism in America? We have a character, Horton, who believes in communist ideals, and therefore that somehow makes the entirety of the Wolfenstein 2 experience communist propaganda. No, you fucking idiot. Usually, I would be more diplomatic. I would be more mature about this. And while I wholeheartedly invite debate, hey, you want to have a voice chat with me? You want to debate live with me? You want to do a live stream debate with me? You want to voice chat with me? You want to debate about this? You truly believe Wolfenstein 2 is SJW communist propaganda? I am all open for a debate. Sell it to me. But what really bugs me about this is that the same people who are decrying Wolfenstein for its political messages are the same people who have been bitching about we don't get enough linear, story-based, single-player campaign video games. We finally get one, a single-player only linear campaign video game, and now it's not good enough. It has a few tiny instances, and one, maybe two characters with different political views than you. Whole game is propaganda. Whole game is garbage. This is what I'm talking about. Gamers wonder why so many people who don't play video games don't take gamers and video games seriously when you behave like fucking children. It makes other gamers look bad and diminishes our credibility. Calling Wolfenstein 2 SJW communist propaganda is no better than the SJWs saying that every video game and video game developers and gamers are racist and sexist and homophobic. You're just as bad as them. Wolfenstein 2 actually has two characters debate their political views, which is just goddamn brilliant. Something we don't see often enough. Wolfenstein 2 has taken chances with its story. Some paying off, some falling flat. Depends on your opinion and perspective and, of course, the subjective nature of the whole thing. But in the end, my point is, Wolfenstein 2 is not a bad game. People are trying to play off like Wolfenstein 2 is this garbage game that's propaganda and all this other nonsense. When I've played the game in full. And while it's not perfect, no video game is. Like Uncharted, The Last of Us, and The Witcher 3, fight me, bro. It is a video game that has had a significant amount of love and dedication and passion and hard work put behind it. In the cinematic direction and creation of the cutscenes, the writing, the storytelling, the phenomenal voice acting, the graphics, the gameplay, the level design. A lot of hard work went into making this game. They had to rebuild everything from scratch in a brand new engine. They're using the same graphics engine as Doom, id Tech 666, before they used id Tech 5 for the New Order and the New Blood. And in using a new graphics engine, you can't just port old models. They had to recreate everything. The character models, the gun models, they had to recreate everything from scratch. It simply disgusts me to see these stuck-up, pretentious, paranoid, delusional SJWs claiming they hate SJWs when in reality, you're no better than you are an SJW. As SJWs call everything racist, sexist, and homophobic, you call everything you disagree with SJW. You're using their same tactics and language. You're no better than them. And you're calling this product, this work of art that had so much love and so much work and so much effort put into it, propaganda and garbage. You're a fucking idiot. And while I am defending the game, quote unquote, don't turn this around that this is just a rant from a fanboy and is upset that some people don't like his favorite video game, blah blah blah. No, that's not what this is. I don't care whatsoever whether you like or dislike Wolfenstein 2. I don't care whether you like or dislike any particular video game. What I do care about is the truth. What I do care about is people spreading misinformation and saying that Wolfenstein 2 is SJW and communist propaganda is simply untrue. It's a lie. It's misinformation. I have played the game in full. I have watched all the cutscenes. I've collected and read almost all the collectible diaries. And outside of Horton's personal beliefs, the game is not pushing communism. It's not pushing SJW ideologies. I don't even see how you could say that it's doing that, because you know it's Wolfenstein. Wolfenstein, you know, the video game series with the premise of killing Nazis, and Nazis are like the final form, the final evolution of SJWs. So I've wasted over 9 minutes now talking about this stupid trash that I really shouldn't have talked about. Waste of your time and mine, but hey, look, I talked about it. I'm still open for debate. If you honestly believe that Wolfenstein 2 is SJW and communist propaganda, I am more than up for having a voice chat. I'm not debating via mountains of paragraphs in the comments, where you can hide away disabling replies, disabling your discussion page and your private messages. You disagree with me? You want to convince me that this is propaganda? I am more than open for a voice chat debate. If we can be civil and mature about it, mind you. I know I just called everyone who I said had that belief a fucking idiot, but we all do that. Let's not lie and be hypocrites. I'm now gonna get to work making some actual video content, so yeah, bye.